In 2015, a group of technical divers from Belgium and the Netherlands decided to do a diving expedition to Sardinia. This trip was a follow-up on the previous expedition in 2014 for most of the divers. Many divers changed their type of CCR rebreather to an SF2 CCR rebreather. They conducted extensive training in order to be ready for the expedition. Only one diver, we call him the diver with two names, used the Megalodon rebreather. The location for the first week is Cala Gonone in the northeast of Sardinia. In order to get there, a lot of things had to be arranged, like transport of many bailout tanks filled with different gases, CCRs, driver propulsion vehicles and more. The gas fill station of SF2 service center ran overtime to get all cylinders ready in time. Also the ferry, the hotel and the diving center of Protec Sardinia had to be booked. After a 12-hour car drive to the ferry location, a 12-hour night boat trip to Olbia followed. A nice road over the Sardinia mountains finishes at Hotel La Playa next to the diving center Protec. This first day everything is easy getting comfortable. Setting up the gear in the diving center, arrange all necessary paperwork like medical statements and dive certificates, checking in and relax. Drink a beer and eat trimix pasta with friends after an exhausting 2-day travel. After a good night's sleep, the first diving day starts. Max, captain of the boat, a rib, briefs the team with a very detailed drawn diving map with jumps, several T's and restrictions. The boat needs to be loaded with tons of diving gear as well as enough drinking water. Good hydration is key for long cave explorations. In the port of Cala Gonone, divers change into their dry suits, connect the necessary P-valves and CPs and get ready to take off to the entrance of the cave.
Alrighty. Ja. Bent goed? Ready to take off.
After a short trip of a few kilometers, they arrive at the cave entrances of the Cala Luna cave system or a bit further navigate to the Bel Torrente cave system. This time the diving location is Bel Torrente. After having anchored before the entrance, the divers, Yves, Valerie, Stefan, Pascal, Tom and the two-named diver, gear up and mount their stages and scooters assisted by Max. The total team splits up in two teams, one with scooters and one without scooters. The team with no scooters, Yves, Valerie and Stefan, are willing to connect the primary line to mark the entrance of the cave and connect it to the main line in the cave. This primary line will be taken away again when all divers are out of the system. The last diver will take it away. This primary line is needed to avoid accidents with non-trained divers like scuba divers who think they can go into the system, which can be very dangerous without the proper training. Waiting for the procedure to finish and the connection of the primary line to the main line of the cave has been set. Each diver puts a marker or cookie on the primary line to indicate that the diver is in the cave. When the dive run has been finished, each diver takes away the personal cookie or marker. A line marker always points to the exit of the cave. Then the actual cave dive run begins. The Bel Torrente has one big main corridor, which ends after about 1.3 kilometers with a deep drop off to 45 meters and a steep climb to the first dry area, the so-called Hazenmeier passage. The other passage, called the Rama del Bui, is situated halfway of the main corridor after the second tee in the big hall. You reach this point after 25 minutes of scootering. The T splits the main line with a second line to the left at 30 meters of depth. This is a complete different passage, which is narrow and has sharp turns and carved stones and rocks and steep drop-offs and climbs. Equalizing your ears as well as keeping your buoyancy is a challenge, especially when having extra task load maneuvering under the rocks and under and above the line. Doing all slow and easy is the key, and enjoy the long dive. In the beginning of Rama del Bui, you can perfectly scooter your way further into the cave. It is much interesting though to explore the corridor without the speed of a scooter and drop the scooter somewhere to pick it up on the return home. The experience is fantastic. In the beginning of Rama del Bui, you can find a 5,000-year-old monk seal jawbone perfectly conserved. Probably at that time the cave was not flooded or dry, but we will never know. After about 15 minutes enjoying all nice corners, special formations, unbelievable drop-offs and climbs, the shape of the cave changes from a tube into a strange narrow shape looking like evil eye of the Lord of the Rings or something more pleasant. We will let the viewer decide. This evil eye shape marks the end of the cave, ending in a small breathable airspace just big enough for 2 divers. At this spot you could climb to the dry area and continue in the next wet area. But this is very narrow and only for those really experienced and professional. Returning the dive makes the corridor look again very different, which is a nice thing about cave diving. You always seem to see other shapes and perspectives again and again. You get a complete dive experience for the total runtime, which is great. Compare this to deep wreck diving. Then wreck diving has a disadvantage to stay most of the runtime getting rid of your decompression time instead of enjoying the dive itself. Cave diving is a challenging experience with a continuous need to search new worlds. Having fun is a big part of it too.
Het is plat! Jetzt kommt nichts mehr.
Anders anhören mit Ihnen?
Ein Bier. Soll ich das Ding antworten? Hier antworten, hier antworten.
Ja.